Tonight, carry yourself as someone who does not need to audition for tenderness. You do not have to prove that you are easy to care for. You do not have to make yourself smaller so another person can feel larger. You do not have to become more useful, more patient, more agreeable, more impressive, or less complicated before you can rest in the knowledge that your presence already has meaning. There is a different posture available to you now, not a proud posture, not a cold one, not the kind that closes the heart and calls it strength. It is quieter than that. It is the way you sit within your own life when you are no longer leaning forward every moment, trying to detect whether someone approves of you. It is the way you breathe when you stop arranging every word around the fear that honesty might make you less desirable. It is the way you move through a room, through a conversation, through an ordinary day, when your inner question is no longer, "What must I do to be chosen?" Something changes when that question grows quiet. Your face can soften. Your shoulders do not have to carry the strain of constant interpretation. You do not have to study every pause. You do not have to make every silence mean something about you. You do not have to turn a delayed reply into a judgment of your value. You do not have to treat another person's uncertainty as an assignment you must solve. You are allowed to stand where you are and let what is true reveal itself in time. There is dignity in that. There is relief in that. There is also a kind of honesty that may have been difficult to practice before, because when you have spent a long time hoping to be chosen, almost any sign of closeness can feel important. A little warmth can feel larger than it is. A little attention can carry the weight of a promise that was never actually made. A good evening can become evidence for a whole future. A few kind words can become something you hold tightly when the days that follow become confusing. And when you care deeply, you can become very skilled at filling in what is missing. You explain the inconsistency. You make room for the distance. You tell yourself that this person is busy, tired, afraid, overwhelmed, wounded, distracted, complicated, not ready, under pressure, going through something, trying in the only way they know how. Any one of those things may even be true. Compassion is not the problem. Understanding another human being is not the problem. The trouble begins when understanding them requires you to stop understanding yourself. You may have done that more often than you realized. You may have been the one who reached out after the silence, the one who repaired the atmosphere, the one who found the softer wording, the one who said, "It's okay," before deciding whether it was actually okay. The one who accepted less clarity because asking for clarity felt dangerous. The one who lowered a need so you would not appear demanding. The one who smiled through disappointment because you wanted to seem mature. The one who offered reassurance while secretly wishing someone would reassure you. The one who carried both sides of the emotional work and called it patience. You may have become so accustomed to doing this that it stopped feeling unusual. It just felt like caring. You cared, so you tried harder. You cared, so you gave another explanation. You cared, so you waited. You cared, so you adjusted. You cared, so you told yourself not to expect too much. You cared, so you found another reason to stay hopeful. And there is nothing shameful in the fact that your heart wanted something to work. Hope can be tender. Attachment can be powerful. Longing can make even a very wise person look at uncertain circumstances and keep searching for the part that might become certain later. You were not foolish because you wanted closeness to deepen. You were not weak because you saw possibility in someone. You were not wrong because you wanted to believe that care would eventually become consistency. But tonight you can begin separating two things that may have lived together for a long time. You can care without abandoning yourself. You can hope without negotiating against your own peace. You can stay open without making openness mean endless access to you. You can be understanding without explaining away everything that hurts. You can be patient without placing your whole emotional life in a waiting room. You can want connection without organizing your identity around whether it arrives. That difference matters. It matters because the body often knows long before the mind admits what is happening. Your body knows the strain of checking. It knows the strange alertness that appears when your phone lights up. It knows how quickly your mood can change when a name you wanted to see is not there. It knows the effort of rereading a message and wondering whether you sounded too warm, too distant, too eager, too serious, too available, too much. It knows the pressure of composing a reply that feels casual when you are not feeling casual at all. It knows what it is to pretend that something does not matter, because admitting that it matters feels too vulnerable. You may even have called that self-control. Sometimes it was fear wearing very good manners. You did not want to disturb what little closeness you had. You did not want to ask the question that might reveal an answer you were not ready to hear. You did not want to seem difficult. You did not want to risk being misunderstood. You wanted to be the person who could handle ambiguity with grace. So you handled it, then handled more, then more, until you were carrying confusion that never belonged entirely to you. This is one of the quiet ways people lose contact with their own center. Not through one dramatic decision. Through many tiny moments of self-editing, you feel disappointed, then soften the disappointment before speaking. You want consistency, then tell yourself consistency is unrealistic. You want to know where you stand, then decide that asking would create pressure. You need rest, then stay awake thinking about what someone meant. You know a pattern is hurting you, then focus on the exception because the exception feels easier to hold. You sense that you are giving too much, then give a little more because withdrawing any part of your effort feels like risking everything. None of these moments alone looks very large. Together, they can become exhausting. That exhaustion is not always loud. Sometimes it looks like being functional all day, while your mind keeps returning to the same person, the same conversation, the same uncertainty. Sometimes it looks like doing your work, answering others, making meals, paying bills, smiling, finishing tasks, and still having one part of you quietly waiting for a reply, waiting for clarity, waiting for the tone to change, waiting for someone to become more certain, waiting for the warmth to return, waiting for proof that you did not imagine what you thought was developing. Waiting can become such a familiar inner position that you forget you are in it. You continue with your life, but something inside you stays slightly tilted toward the door. That tilt costs more than it seems. It divides attention. It makes ordinary silence feel charged. It can make your own plans feel secondary to a possibility that has not become real. You may postpone decisions because you do not know what another person will do. You may leave emotional space unoccupied because you are preserving it for someone who has not actually asked to share it. You may hesitate to enjoy the present because part of your mind is still reviewing the past. You may say, I even feel guilty for pulling your attention back toward yourself, as if caring about your own peace means you did not care about them, as if choosing stability means you have become hard, as if refusing to overfunction means you are withholding affection, as if stepping out of uncertainty means you are giving up too soon. These ideas can keep a loving person trapped for a very long time, not because the heart is weak, because the heart is loyal. And loyalty without discernment can keep serving situations that no longer serve the person giving it. Your task tonight is not to become less loving. It is to stop measuring the depth of your care by how much discomfort you can tolerate. That measure has never been fair to you. You do not need to prove devotion through anxiety. You do not need to demonstrate loyalty through self-neglect. You do not need to earn closeness by becoming endlessly adaptable. A healthy bond does not require you to disappear in order to preserve it. A healthy bond can survive your truth. It can survive a need stated clearly. It can survive a boundary. It can survive a day when you do not perform calmness perfectly. It can survive your full humanity. And if something depends upon your constant shrinking, your endless initiating, your refusal to ask questions, or your ability to pretend you need very little, then the strain you feel is important information. You do not have to turn that information into anger. You do not have to accuse anyone. You do not have to build a case. You can just stop arguing with what your own experience has been showing you. There may have been times when you gave because giving felt safer than waiting to see what would be offered freely. If you gave first, you could keep movement happening. If you started the conversation, there would be a conversation. If you suggested the plan, there might be a plan. If you offered understanding, perhaps understanding would come back. If you remained warm, maybe the connection would become warmer. If you stayed available, maybe you would become harder to lose. That last hope can run very deep. Become easy to keep. Become valuable enough to keep. Become patient enough to keep. Become helpful enough to keep. Become beautiful enough to keep. Become calm enough to keep. Become undemanding enough to keep. Become unforgettable enough to keep. There is such sadness hidden inside that kind of effort because it asks you to treat connection as something that must be secured by performance. It places you in a constant state of evaluation. Am I doing this correctly? Did I say too much? Did I ask too soon? Did I respond too quickly? Should I give more space? Should I be warmer? Should I seem busier? Should I care less? Should I hide that I care? The mind can spend hours trying to find the perfect behavior that will produce certainty from another person. There is no perfect behavior that can do the at. Another person's readiness belongs to them. Their capacity belongs to them. Their honesty belongs to them. Their choices belong to them. You can influence a relationship through how you communicate and how you show up, but you cannot manufacture another person's willingness by becoming increasingly skillful at ignoring your own needs. That is an important distinction, and it can be deeply calming once it begins to settle into you. Because if their part belongs to them, you can return to your part. Your part is not to convince. Your part is not to manage every impression. Your part is not to make yourself irresistible to someone who remains uncertain. Your part is not to turn mixed signals into a stable foundation through extraordinary patience. Your part is to remain truthful, to remain awake to your own experience, to let kindness include you, to let respect include you, to let care include you. For some people, this feels unfamiliar. You may know how to extend understanding outward much more easily than you know how to extend it inward. When another person withdraws, you may immediately wonder what they are going through. When you feel hurt, you may immediately wonder whether you are overreacting. When another person behaves inconsistently, you may look for their reasons. When you become anxious because of that inconsistency, you may criticize yourself for being anxious. Do you see the imbalance? They receive context. You receive judgment. They receive patience. You receive correction. They receive the benefit of the doubt. You receive another demand to be easier. Tonight, that arrangement can begin to change. Not through force, not through a dramatic declaration, through fairness. You can become as fair to your own heart as you have tried to be to everyone else. You can say, there may be reasons for what happened, and this still affected me. Both can be true. You can say, I understand that someone may be afraid, and I do not have to make a home inside their fear. You can say, I care about what they have experienced, and I care about what I am experiencing too. You can say, I do not need anyone to be a villain before I take my own discomfort seriously. That is a mature kind of self-respect. It does not need blame in order to choose differently. It does not need bitterness in order to become clear. It does not need a dramatic ending before it stops overextending. It can remain soft and still become steady. You may have believed that the strongest proof of your goodness was how much you could understand. There is goodness in understanding. But there is also goodness in discernment. There is goodness in recognizing when your hope has started asking you to live on crumbs of certainty. There is goodness in admitting that being wanted occasionally is different from being considered consistently. There is goodness in acknowledging that chemistry is not the same as care. There is goodness in recognizing that attention is not always intention. There is goodness in letting actions have meaning without immediately rewriting them into something more comforting. This does not mean becoming suspicious. It means becoming present. Present with what is actually happening. Present with how you actually feel. Present with what you actually need. Present with the difference between the relationship you are experiencing and the relationship you keep hoping might eventually appear. That difference can be painful to face. It can also be freeing, because you no longer have to spend so much of yourself maintaining the imagined version. You can meet life where it is. You can meet yourself where you are. And from that place, you begin to understand the posture we started with tonight. Someone who already knows they matter does not have to walk away from everyone who disappoints them. They do not become rigid. They do not demand perfection. They do not expect another person to read their mind. They can forgive mistakes. They can have difficult conversations. They can leave room for growth. They can recognize that human beings have complicated seasons. But they also do not make confusion a permanent address. They do not keep volunteering for uncertainty while calling it depth. They do not repeatedly trade peace for potential. They do not assume that every difficult pattern is theirs to heal. They do not spend year after year trying to become the answer to someone else's inability to choose. They know affection is meaningful, but they also know affection must live beside respect, clarity, care, and mutual effort if it is going to support a healthy bond. This posture is not a pose. It is not something you put on to make anyone react differently. That would only be another form of performance. You are not withdrawing attention so someone will miss you. You are not becoming quiet so someone will panic. You are not setting limits to provoke pursuit. You are not changing yourself to create a particular outcome. You are returning to yourself because living far away from your own center has become too expensive. That is the shift. No game, no strategy, no punishment, no hidden test. Just a person deciding that their own life deserves their full presence again. Think about how much attention can be reclaimed when you stop trying to predict someone else. Think about how many ordinary moments can become yours again. A meal without checking. A walk without rehearsing a conversation. A morning without measuring your mood by a message. An evening without deciding what a silence means. A weekend that belongs to your actual life rather than a possible invitation. A decision made because it is right for you, not because you are leaving room for someone who has not made a decision of their own. This is where calm begins returning. Not because use every uncertainty outside you disappears. Because you stop appointing uncertainty as the authority over your inner state. You may still care. You may still wonder. You may still have moments when the old reflex returns and your hand reaches for the phone before you even realize what you are doing. You may still feel a wave of disappointment. You may still remember what you hoped for. You may still miss someone. None of that cancels the shift. A new posture does not require the old feelings to vanish instantly. It asks only that those feelings no longer run the whole house of your life. You can feel longing and still make breakfast. You can miss someone and still laugh. You can feel uncertain and still make a clear decision. You can care and still go to sleep. You can have unanswered questions and still protect your night. You can remember the good and still acknowledge the difficult. You can hope and still refuse to abandon yourself. This is emotional adulthood in one of its quietest forms. You stop demanding that your heart become blank before you begin treating yourself well. You treat yourself well while the heart is still learning. You become steady while some part of you is still tender. You honor what you felt without making it a contract with the future. You let an experience matter without requiring it to last forever in order to have mattered. You let yourself be human. That may be one of the most important forms of dignity available to you. Because a great deal of pursuing begins not with desire itself, but with fear of what desire says about you. You want to be chosen, and suddenly the wanting feels dangerous. You want reassurance, and suddenly the need for reassurance becomes something you judge. You want consistency, and you worry that wanting it makes you demanding. You want mutual effort, and you wonder whether expecting it makes you unrealistic. Then you begin negotiating with yourself. You lower the request before anyone has even responded to it. You silence the need before anyone has even heard it. You reduce the truth before anyone has even had a chance to meet it. You reject yourself in advance to protect yourself from the possibility that someone else might do it later. That is a painful habit, and it is learned. It is not your identity. Tonight, you can become curious about how often you have been saying no to yourself before another person even had the opportunity to answer? How often have you translated a clear need into a vague hint? How often have you pretended not to mind? How often have you accepted uncertainty because asking for truth felt too risky? How often have you praised yourself for being low maintenance while quietly becoming depleted? How often have you kept a connection alive through effort that was rarely matched? There is no need to count. There is no need to reopen every old memory. The point is not to build evidence against your past. The point is to recognize the pattern with compassion while you are finally in a position to choose something kinder. You did what seemed to protect connection. Now you can learn to protect connection with yourself too. That does not mean becoming self-centered. It means becoming self-present. It means your feelings are included in the room. Your preferences are included. Your questions are included. Your limits are included. Your pace is included. Your body is included. Your sleep is included. Your future is included. You are not a supporting character in your own emotional life. You do not have to stand beside your own needs and argue against them on someone else's behalf. You can listen. You can respond. You can decide. You can wait when waiting feels peaceful. You can step back when waiting becomes self-abandonment. You can speak when there is something real to say. You can stay silent when you are only tempted to speak because silence feels unbearable. You can reach out because you genuinely want to, not because panic has convinced you that every gap must be repaired immediately. There is a great difference between choosing contact and needing contact to restore your sense of value. One comes from freedom, the other comes from fear. You may have experienced both. Most people have. There is no need to condemn the fearful part of you. It learned to work very hard for closeness. It may have believed effort could prevent loss. It may have believed being exceptional could guarantee loyalty. It may have believed that if you understood people deeply enough, they would stay. It may have believed that needing less would make you easier to choose. That part was trying to help you. It just did not know that real connection cannot be secured by disappearing. My dear, you are not becoming someone who needs nobody. You are becoming someone who no longer needs to betray themselves in order to stay near somebody. That is very different. You can still be warm. You can still be generous. You can still send the first message sometimes. You can still say you miss someone. You can still express affection openly. You can still take emotional risks. You can still be the person who cares deeply. The change is not in the existence of your care. The change is in whether care requires you to leave yourself behind. If you reach out and the effort is not returned, you can see that. If you ask and the answer remains vague, you can hear that. If you express a need and it is repeatedly dismissed, you can take that seriously. If you keep giving and feel increasingly unseen, you can stop calling depletion devotion. You can remain compassionate without becoming endlessly available to conditions that drain you. This is not about making people earn every piece of your humanity. It is about understanding that mutuality matters. A relationship is not strengthened by one person becoming more and more skilled at carrying what belongs to two. The person who always initiates eventually becomes tired. The person who always interprets eventually becomes confused. The person who always forgives without repair eventually becomes hurt in places they may struggle to name. The person who always adjusts may eventually forget what their natural shape felt like. You do not need to reach that point. You can recognize strain earlier. You can respect what repeated behavior communicates. You can let yourself want ease without confusing ease with perfection. Healthy closeness still requires effort. It still includes misunderstandings. It still involves difficult days. People get tired. People make mistakes. People say the wrong thing. People sometimes need space. People sometimes move slowly. None of that automatically means a bond is wrong. The question is whether there is enough mutual care to face those moments honestly, whether repair happens, whether your reality can be spoken, whether your needs can exist without punishment, whether you are treated as a person rather than a convenience, whether the connection leaves room for both people to be real. You do not have to answer any of that tonight. This night is not asking you for a verdict. It is asking you to come back into your own seat, to stop leaning so far towards someone else's response that you can barely feel your own, to stop treating being selected as the event that will finally certify your value. You are here now. You have a life now. You have a body that deserves rest now. You have a mind that deserves relief now. You have a heart that deserves to be heard now. Not after someone becomes certain, not after someone apologizes, not after someone understands, not after some future proof arrives. Now, that is the chosen posture. It begins before anyone else confirms it. It begins as a private agreement in the way you speak to yourself. I will not make another person's hesitation my definition. I will not make uncertainty the ruler of my night. I will not keep shrinking a clear need until it becomes acceptable to someone who does not want to meet it. I will not confuse self-erasure with patience. You do not have to say these words perfectly. You do not have to feel completely convinced. The body may still carry old habits. The mind may still search. The heart may still pull toward familiar patterns. That is all right. Change can begin before certainty. A different life often begins through very ordinary acts of self-respect. Closing the conversation for the night, putting the phone down, keeping the plan you made with yourself, not rereading the same message again, letting another adult hold responsibility for their own communication, eating when you are hungry, sleeping when you are tired, calling a friend because you want connection that is actually available, doing something that returns you to your own day, telling them the truth without adding 6 paragraphs to make the truth easier for someone else to accept. These acts may look small from the outside. Inside, They change your relationship with yourself. Each one says, I am here too. Each one says, my life is not on hold. Each one says, I can care without collapsing. Each one says, I do not need to chase certainty through constant effort. And slowly, the posture becomes natural. You stop craning toward every sign. You stop treating every change in tone as an emergency. You stop assuming the burden of keeping every bond alive. You begin observing what comes toward you without rushing to meet it more than halfway. You begin understanding that what is mutual does not require constant persuasion. You begin resting in the possibility that you do not have to perform your way into being valued. Tonight is only the beginning of that understanding. There is more to see. There is a reason pursuit can become so tiring even when the heart believes it is moving toward what it wants. There is a reason inner pressure can quietly shape the way you speak, wait, interpret, and give. And there is a reason calm self-respect changes far more than appearance. It changes what you accept. It changes what you ask. It changes how long you remain inside ambiguity. It changes the meaning you give to another person's behavior. Most of all, it changes what you are willing to abandon in yourself for the sake of being kept. You do not have to abandon anything tonight. You can stay here. You can stay with your own truth. You can let the part of you that has worked so hard begin to unclench. Nothing essential is being taken from you. You are not losing your capacity to care. You are beginning to care from a steadier place. What changes next is not the depth of your heart, but the place from which your heart reaches. The place from which you reach changes the experience of reaching. When you reach from fullness, there is room for another person to answer honestly. When you reach from fear, every answer can begin to feel like a verdict. That is one reason pursuit becomes so exhausting. It is not only the action of calling, writing, explaining, planning, or trying. It is the meaning carried underneath those actions. A message can be light when it comes from genuine desire. The same message can feel heavy inside you when it is carrying a secret request. Please prove that I matter. Please make this uncertainty stop. Please tell me I have not been forgotten. Please give me a sign that I am safe here. There is no shame in wanting reassurance. Human beings need connection. We need warmth. We need belonging. We need experiences in which our presence is welcomed rather than tolerated. The difficulty begins when one person, one reply, one invitation, or one outcome becomes responsible for restoring something inside you that has been asking for care for years. Then the present moment starts carrying the weight of the past. You are no longer only waiting for tonight's answer. You may be waiting for an answer to every older moment when you wondered whether you were important. You may be waiting for someone to repair the memory of not being prioritized. You may be hoping a new relationship will finally erase the feeling of being overlooked. You may be asking one person's certainty to quiet every old experience of rejection. That is too much weight for any single interaction to hold, and your heart deserves something more stable than that. The old strain often begins with a belief so familiar that it does not even sound like a belief. It sounds like fact. I have to work harder to be kept. I have to offer more to be remembered. I have to be useful to be important. I have to be pleasing to be safe. I have to prove that I am different from everyone who disappointed them before. I have to become impossible to leave. These ideas rarely arrive as clear sentences. They show themselves through behavior. You answer faster than you want to. You apologize for having a need. You over-prepare for simple conversations. You monitor how much affection you show. You try to predict what would make another person comfortable. You take responsibility for moods you did not create. You become careful in places where you should be able to breathe. The pressure is internal, but other people can sometimes feel its effects, not because you are doing something wrong, not because caring makes you unattractive, not because there is some magical rule that says wanting something pushes it away. Life is more human than that. The issue is that fear can make connection feel like a task. When you are afraid of losing someone, you may start trying to manage every variable. You may ask a question, then soften it before they answer. You may express disappointment, then immediately comfort the person who disappointed you. You may say what you need, then give them permission not to take it seriously. You may keep filling every silence, because silence makes you imagine distance. You may give more and more, because giving creates the temporary feeling that you are doing something to prevent loss. From the outside, all of this can look like devotion. Inside, it can feel like constant work, and constant work changes your presence. You are not resting inside the connection. You are monitoring it. You are not discovering what is naturally being offered. You are trying to keep the offering from disappearing. You are not learning whether another person can meet you. You are helping them so much that you may never find out. That is important. If you always take the extra step, you cannot clearly see whether they would have taken one. If you always reopen the conversation, you do not learn whether they would have returned. If you always make the pile, and you do not discover whether they would have thought to make one. If you always repair the rupture, you may never know whether they are capable of repair. If you always excuse what hurts, you cannot see what happens when your truth is allowed to remain in the room. Sometimes the most revealing thing you can do is less. Not as a test, not as punishment, not to create scarcity. Just enough less to stop covering every empty space with your own effort. That can feel frightening at first, because an old part of you may believe that if you stop holding everything together, everything will fall apart. And sometimes something does fall apart. That possibility deserves honesty. When your effort has been carrying most of the weight, reducing that effort may reveal that the bond was less mutual than you hoped. That realization can hurt. But the pain of seeing clearly is different from the pain of spending months or years trying to prevent yourself from seeing. Clarity has an ending. Constant guessing does not. Clarity may disappoint you, but it gives your life back to you. Guessing can keep you emotionally occupied long after the connection itself has stopped growing. This is why calm self-respect has a different quality. It does not rush to fill every gap. It can tolerate enough space for reality to show itself. It can let another person initiate. It can let another person explain. It can let another person make effort without being coached into it. It can let a relationship reveal its actual shape. That does not mean you become passive. You are still capable of directness. You still speak. You still ask. You still express care. You still take healthy risks. But you stop doing both people's work. And when that begins, something inside you becomes quieter. You are no longer trying to produce a result through perfect behavior. You begin to understand that healthy connection is not a prize awarded to the person who performs best. It is something created through mutual choice, mutual presence, mutual honesty, mutual effort, mutual regard. If only one person is creating those conditions, the connection may look alive while one heart is slowly becoming depleted. You deserve to know the difference. There is another reason chasing can create strain. Pressure often carries doubt. Again, this is not mystical. It is human. When you believe you must keep convincing someone, your own behavior begins to communicate that you do not fully trust what is already present. You explain more. You sell your intentions. You emphasize your qualities. You make yourself available beyond what is comfortable. You keep presenting reasons why closeness with you would be a good idea. Without realizing it, you may begin treating yourself like an argument that needs to be won. Your presence becomes evidence. Your kindness becomes evidence. Your patience becomes evidence. Your accomplishments become evidence. Your body becomes evidence. Your generosity becomes evidence. Your understanding becomes evidence. You gather all of it and silently ask another person to reach the conclusion you want. Choose me, see me, recognize what I can give, recognize what I could mean to you. The trouble is not that you have wonderful qualities. The trouble is that qualities offered as proof do not feel the same inside you as qualities lived naturally. When you know you are caring, you do not need every act of care to become an advertisement. When you know you are interesting, every conversation does not have to demonstrate it. When you know you have depth, you do not need to reveal all of it immediately so someone understands your value. When you know you have something meaningful to offer, you can let discovery happen at a human pace. You do not rush the unveiling. You do not force intimacy ahead of trust. You do not pour your whole emotional history into a small opening because you are afraid the opening will close. You let closeness earn depth. That is a form of wisdom. People often confuse instant intensity with deep connection. Intensity can be beautiful. It can also move faster than reality. Two people can talk for hours and still know very little about how each other handles disappointment. They can share private memories and still not know how each other repairs harm. They can feel extraordinary chemistry and still have very different capacities for commitment. They can say things that sound profound and still be unable to offer steadiness in ordinary life. Depth is not only what is revealed. Depth is what can be held. Can honesty be held? Can difference be held? Can a boundary be held? Can inconvenience be held? Can the ordinary days be held? Can another person's needs exist without becoming a threat? Can affection survive when neither person is performing? Those answers come slowly. This is why your new posture does not have to hurry. It does not confuse speed with destiny. It does not assume that immediate intensity must be protected at any cost. It lets time participate. Time is not the enemy of what is real. Time reveals capacity. It reveals patterns. It reveals whether words and actions begin to live together. It reveals whether warmth appears only when it is convenient. It reveals whether care survives disappointment. It reveals whether interest grows into reliability. It reveals whether your own nervous system becomes steadier or more strained. You do not have to force any of those answers. You can watch. You can listen. You can live. This is where standards become less like rules and more like a quiet way of relating to yourself. A standard is not a threat. It is not a demand that everyone behave according to your preferences. It is not a way to control another person. It is the clarity to know what conditions support your well-being and what conditions repeatedly diminish it. You cannot control whether someone communicates consistently. You can decide how long you participate in chronic inconsistency. You cannot control whether someone is ready for commitment. You can decide whether indefinite uncertainty works for you. You cannot control whether someone understands your needs immediately. You can decide whether repeated dismissal is something you will continue accepting. You cannot control how someone speaks during conflict. You can decide whether contempt, intimidation, cruelty, or threats have a place in your life. Your standard is not the command you place on them. It is the responsibility you take for your own participation. That is why real standards feel different from manipulation. Manipulation says, "Do this so I can feel secure." Self-respect says, you are free to choose, and I am free to respond to what you choose. There is space in that sentence. There is adulthood in it. There is no begging. There is no hidden bargain. There is no attempt to force a heart. Two people remain free, and because they remain free, what is mutual becomes more meaningful. You no longer need someone to stay because they were pressured. You want them present because presence is what they truly choose. You no longer need a promise extracted in panic. You want the kind of honesty that can stand without coercion. You no longer want affection that must be constantly revived by your effort. You want room for affection to come toward you too. This may sound obvious when spoken plainly, but old conditioning can make obvious truths difficult to live. Perhaps you learned early that being pleasing created harmony. Maybe you became sensitive to the emotional climate around you. Perhaps you learned to anticipate moods before speaking. Maybe praise came more easily when you were helpful. Perhaps approval became connected to achievement. Maybe you learned that having fewer needs made life easier for everyone. Perhaps you watched someone you loved work very hard to keep relationships intact. Maybe sacrifice was praised more often than reciprocity. Maybe silence was safer than disagreement. Perhaps you learned that being good meant not creating difficulty. These lessons can follow a person into adulthood without announcing themselves. You may grow older, more capable, more accomplished, and still carry a quiet instinct to secure connection through accommodation. The setting changes. The instinct remains. You may no longer be the child trying to keep the room peaceful, but some part of you may still scan the room. You may no longer depend upon approval for survival, but the body can react as though disapproval still carries enormous danger. You may know intellectually that another adult's mood is not your responsibility, and still find yourself trying to fix it. This is why compassion matters more than self-criticism. If you attack yourself for the pattern, you only create another atmosphere you have to manage. You do not need more inner pressure. You need understanding strong enough to lead somewhere new. The behaviors that exhausted you were often attempts to protect something precious. Belonging, connection, security, hope, the desire to be held in someone's mind with care. There is nothing shameful about those desires. You were trying to reach legitimate human needs with strategies that may no longer serve you. That distinction can change everything. You are not wrong for wanting closeness. You are learning that overgiving is not the only road to it. You are not wrong for wanting reassurance. You are learning not to make reassurance the sole source of inner stability. You are not wrong for wanting to matter. You are learning that your importance does not begin when another person recognizes it. You are not wrong for being tender. You are learning that tenderness needs protection as much as expression. Old beliefs are often cruelest when they sound personal. I am too much. I am difficult. I am behind. I am unlovable. I am forgettable. I am not interesting enough. I am not attractive enough. I am not successful enough. I am too old. I missed my chance. I should have figured this out by now. I must be the problem. These sentences can settle so deeply into the mind that you stop asking where they came from. Tonight, ask something different. Who taught you to measure yourself this way? Not necessarily one person. Sometimes no one ever said the exact words. A belief can be installed by repetition without language, by being compared, by being overlooked, by receiving affection inconsistently, by watching adults withdraw warmth when displeased, by learning that achievement brought attention, by being rewarded for silence, by living through relationships where your needs were treated as inconvenient, by experiencing rejection at a vulnerable time, by absorbing cultural messages about age, appearance, partnership, status, or desirability. The sentence forms slowly. Then one day it sounds like your own voice. I am not enough. That sentence deserves examination. Because not enough for what? Enough to deserve basic respect? You already are. Enough to deserve honesty? You already are. Enough to deserve safety? You already are. Enough to express a preference? You already are. Enough to ask a question? You already are. Enough to leave a situation that repeatedly harms you? You already are. Enough to live a meaningful life, whether or not someone selects you? You already are. This does not mean you never grow. You can learn. You can become more skillful. You can apologize. You can improve communication. You can heal patterns. You can become more responsible for the impact you have on others. Self-respect does not mean believing you are flawless. It means your imperfections do not cancel your humanity. You can make a mistake without becoming unworthy of care. You can have a difficult season without becoming undesirable. You can have needs without becoming burdensome. You can be older than you once imagined and still have chapters ahead of you. You can carry history and still be capable of freshness. You can have known heartbreak and still be capable of healthy closeness. You can be uncertain and still be valuable. Your humanity does not need to be edited into perfection before it becomes acceptable. That is the repair. Not pretending every part of you is finished. Not insisting everyone must choose you. Not declaring that every desire will arrive exactly as you picture it. The repair is quieter. You stop using external response as the final measurement of your inner value. Someone can decline you and you remain yourself. Someone can misunderstand you and you remain yourself. Someone can be unavailable and you remain yourself. Someone can decide that the connection is not right for them and you remain yourself. Their decision may affect your feelings. It may affect your plans. It may bring sadness. It may take time to process. But it does not have authority to rewrite your fundamental value. That is a boundary inside the mind, an important one, because without it, every rejection becomes a courtroom. You gather evidence against yourself. You revisit your appearance, your age, your words, your timing, your history, your personality, your achievements, your body, your choices. You search for the flaw that explains everything. Sometimes there is something useful to learn from an ending. Sometimes you could have communicated better. Sometimes you ignored incompatibilities. Sometimes you stayed too long. Sometimes you moved too quickly. Sometimes both people made mistakes. Learning is valuable. Self-prosecution is not. You do not need to turn every disappointment into proof that something is fundamentally wrong with you. An ending can mean incompatibility, timing, different priorities, different capacities, different desires. Poor communication, unresolved personal issues, circumstances, or a mixture no one could have predicted. Human relationships are complex. A mature heart can learn without making itself the villain, and it can also take responsibility without drowning in shame. That balance is powerful. You can say, I see what I would do differently, then do differently. You can say, I ignored myself there, then listen sooner next time. You can say, I stayed in ambiguity because I was afraid to lose the possibility. Then become more honest about what sustained ambiguity costs you. You can say, I gave more than I had. Then practice generosity that does not leave you empty. You can say, I wanted their approval too much. Then begin strengthening the relationship you have with your own voice. No punishment is required. Punishment rarely creates the steadiness you are seeking. Practice does. Repetition does. Returning does. Every time you catch the old reflex and choose differently, the new posture becomes more familiar. You feel the urge to over-explain. You shorten the explanation. You feel the urge to rescue the conversation. You give the other person room to participate. You feel the urge to say yes immediately. You take time to check whether yes is true. You feel the urge to apologize for a need. You state the need without apology. You feel the urge to interpret silence as rejection. You remind yourself that silence is information only when there is enough context to understand it. You feel the urge to make yourself smaller. You remain your actual size. These are ordinary moments. They do not look dramatic. But ordinary moments are where identity changes. You become someone you can rely upon. Someone who does not abandon themselves at the first sign of uncertainty. Someone who can remain kind without becoming self-erasing. Someone who knows that openness and discernment can live together. Someone who no longer treats self-respect as the enemy of connection. And then a deeper question becomes possible. What if the years behind you have not reduced your capacity to receive something good? What if they have refined it? What if experience has not made you late? What if it has made you clearer? There is a strange pressure in the world to believe that value belongs most easily to what is newest. New faces, new beginnings, new possibilities. Newness is praised loudly. Maturity is often asked to justify itself. This can enter the heart quietly. You look at time and imagine subtraction. You look at years and imagine doors closing. You look at past disappointments and assume they have reduced what remains possible. But life does not only deepen through beginnings. It deepens through seasons, through endurance, through discernment, through the ability to recognize what nourishes and what only dazzles briefly, through knowing what deserves your attention and what does not. There are forms of richness that only time can create. Not because age automatically makes anyone wise, but because lived experience gives you material from which wisdom can be made. You have seen enough to compare promise with pattern. You have felt enough to recognize the difference between intensity and safety. You have survived enough to know that disappointment does not end your life. You have learned enough to ask better questions. You may not always use what you know. No one does. But the knowledge exists. And tonight, rather than treating your history as proof that you have missed something, you can begin seeing it as the soil from which discernment has grown. There is an orchard we will return to now, not a perfect orchard, a living one, rose shaped by many years of weather, spring after spring, summer after summer. Wind passing through the same branches in different moods, rain arriving in generous seasons and reluctant ones. Some trees are young, their bark is smooth, their branches are quick with new growth. When flowering season arrives, they can look spectacular. They catch the eye. The blossoms appear almost all at once, bright against the branches, full of promise. A visitor walking the rows for the first time might naturally look toward them. They are beautiful. They deserve admiration. But farther down the orchard stands an older tree. It has been there for 50 years. Its trunk is not smooth. It carries marks. A place where a branch once broke. A curve shaped slowly by prevailing wind. Bark thickened through heat and cold. Its form is less eager to impress. It does not appear to be competing with the young trees beside it. It has no reason to. It has lived through too many seasons to confuse display with abundance. The young trees can cover themselves in blossoms. The old tree does something quieter. It bears, not because it fought the younger trees, not because it proved itself prettier, not because the orchard favored it through some mysterious law, because season after season its roots went deeper, its structure matured, it learned the weather by surviving it. Its branches strengthened under real weight. And when harvest comes, the oldest tree can carry more fruit than many of the trees whose spring display looked more dramatic. That image has something to teach you. Your seasons are not evidence against you. They can be capacity. They can be roots. They can be the reason you no longer need every blossom to impress you. They can be the reason you know how to wait long enough to see what actually bears fruit. And tonight, the old tree does not apologize for having lived. It does not wish its bark were smooth again. It does not look down the row and count the years between itself and the newest planting. It does not mistake youth for superiority or age for decline. It stands where it has grown, rooted, seasoned, capable of holding weight that once would have bent it. This is where the orchard becomes more than an image. It becomes a way of seeing your own life differently. You may have spent years believing that time was taking something from you. Perhaps you looked at old photographs and measured change. Perhaps you compared who you are now with who you were when certain hopes first entered your heart. Maybe you wondered whether there was a better age for being desired, a better age for beginning again, a better age for being surprised by something beautiful, a better age for being noticed, a better age for being chosen. The world can be loud about youth. It can make newness seem like the highest form of possibility. But an orchard tells another story. The newest tree is not the only tree with a future. The oldest tree is not finished because it has already known many springs. Its history is not an argument against its fruit. Its history is part of what lets it carry so much. The years behind you may have given you something your younger self could not yet possess. Discernment without explanation. A quicker recognition of inconsistency. A deeper appreciation for peace. A clearer sense of what you will not bargain away. A stronger ability to hear what someone is showing you without needing to rewrite it. A different relationship with time. When you were younger, waiting may have felt endless. You may have believed that every disappointment needed immediate repair. You may have felt pressure to make something happen before life moved past you. Years can teach another rhythm. You learn that not every opening is meant to be entered. Not every spark deserves a whole season. Not every person who is interesting is able to be consistent. Not every connection that begins beautifully can carry the weight of ordinary life. Not every delay means loss. Not every ending means failure. These lessons are not signs that you have become cynical. They can be signs that your roots have gone deeper. The old tree is not impressed by every breeze. It has known wind before. It does not confuse one warm afternoon with the arrival of spring. It has known weather. It does not panic when a branch bends. It has bent before. It does not compare each quiet day with the brightest day it ever had. Its life is larger than one afternoon. So is yours. One person's attention is not the whole climate of your life. One person's absence is not the end of your season. One unanswered question does not erase all the life already growing within you. One disappointment does not mean your future has closed. Your roots are larger than a single event. Your life is larger than a single relationship. Your value is larger than a single response. You have become more than the person who once needed every door to open. There are doors now you can recognize as too narrow. There are conversations you no longer need to win. There are explanations you no longer owe. There are patterns you can name sooner. There are forms of attention you no longer confuse with care. That is not loss. That is maturation. The oldest tree in the orchard does not need to blossom louder than the others. Its strength is not in display. Its strength is in what it can sustain. That matters tonight, because much of what you may have called attraction in the past was built around display. How do I appear? What should I say? How should I respond? How can I seem more interesting? How can I keep this person's attention? How can I make sure I am not forgotten? Those questions keep you on the surface of yourself. They turn every interaction into presentation. But a mature life asks different questions. Can I be myself here? Can I tell the truth here? Can I rest here? Can I ask a real question here? Can I be disappointed without fearing abandonment? Can this person meet me in ordinary life, not only in exciting moments? Can I stay connected to myself while I am connected to them? These questions are less glamorous. They are also far more useful. A tree that will carry heavy fruit needs more than blossoms. It needs structure. It needs roots that can hold. It needs branches that do not break under the very abundance they once desired. You are building that structure. Every time you stop over-promising yourself to someone uncertain, a root goes deeper. Every time you keep a boundary that protects your peace, your structure strengthens. Every time you tell the truth without trying to control the answer, you become more stable. Every time you let another person's choice remain theirs, your life becomes more your own. Every time you refuse to translate neglect into a challenge to prove yourself, you stand more firmly. Every time you choose rest over late-night analysis, something inside you learns that safety does not have to come from another person's reply. This is how receiving becomes different. You may have thought receiving meant getting the thing you wanted. The message, the invitation, the commitment, the apology, the recognition, the future you pictured. Those things can matter. But receiving begins earlier than that. It begins with being able to let something good reach you without immediately wondering what you must do to deserve it. It begins with accepting a compliment without reducing it. It begins with letting someone help you without rushing to repay them. It begins with allowing another person to make effort without stepping in to make the effort for them. It begins with letting kindness land. It begins with believing that steadiness does not need to be suspicious. It begins with giving another person room to show you who they are. Some people find receiving harder than giving. Giving gives you a role. You know what to do. You can act. You can solve. You can organize. You can offer. You can be useful. Receiving asks for something else. It asks you to remain present while someone else acts. It asks you not to seize control. It asks you not to decide in advance that the good thing will disappear. It asks you to experience care without turning care into debt. It asks you to trust yourself enough to see what happens next. That can feel strangely vulnerable. If you are used to earning your place, an unearned kindness may make you uncomfortable. You may want to return it immediately. You may worry that you owe something. You may question the motive. You may minimize the gesture so it does not feel too important. You may even move away from consistent people while feeling drawn toward uncertain ones, because uncertainty feels more familiar. Familiarity can be powerful. The nervous system often recognizes what it has known before more quickly than what is actually supportive. A relationship that keeps you guessing may feel intense because the guessing activates you. A stable person may feel quieter. At first, quiet can be mistaken for lack of chemistry. Calm can feel unfamiliar enough to seem dull. Consistency can seem less dramatic than longing. But drama and depth are not the same. An orchard does not produce more because the weather is dramatic. It produces through conditions that support growth: enough sun, enough water, enough time, enough stability in the roots to make use of what arrives. Your life is similar. You do not need constant emotional storms to prove something important is happening. You do not need to be kept awake to prove a connection matters. You do not need uncertainty to make affection feel intense enough. You can learn to recognize goodness in steadiness. You can learn to recognize attraction without panic. You can learn to recognize care that does not require constant interpretation. This may take practice. The old pattern may still call louder at first. You may still feel pulled toward what is difficult to secure. You may still feel more activated by the person who gives just enough to keep hope alive. You may still find yourself thinking more about someone who is inconsistent than someone who is clear. That does not mean inconsistency is meant for you. It means your attention has practiced following uncertainty. Attention can learn a new path. You can begin asking not only, how strongly do I feel? You can also ask, how do I feel after being with this person? Do you feel calmer, clearer, more yourself? Do you feel able to speak? Do you feel respected? Do you feel that the connection has room for your actual life? Or do you feel smaller, preoccupied, confused, afraid to say the wrong thing, compelled to work harder after every encounter? Your feelings do not give you a perfect verdict, but they give you information. The old tree does not judge itself for responding to weather. It responds. Its leaves react to sun. Its roots react to water. Its branches respond to wind. Life affects living things. You are no different. A relationship affects you. A conversation affects you. A pattern affects you. You do not have to deny the effect in order to prove you are strong. Strength includes accurate response. If something repeatedly leaves you anxious, you can examine that. If something repeatedly leaves you peaceful, you can examine that too. The goal is not to become someone who never feels uncertain. The goal is to become someone who does not abandon themselves when uncertainty appears. There is another lesson in the oldest tree. It does not bear because it wants to prove its age has value. It bears because bearing has become part of what it is capable of doing. That difference matters. You do not need to prove that your years made you better than anyone younger. You do not need to turn maturity into another competition. You do not need to say, I am more deserving because I have suffered. Pain is not a qualification. Age is not a moral achievement. Your life does not become precious because it was difficult. It is precious because it is yours. The years simply give you more material to understand, more contrast, more memory, more chances to see what patterns lead where, more opportunities to become honest. You can use that material. You can let it become nourishment instead of evidence against yourself. Some seasons gave you joy. Keep the joy. Some gave you grief. Keep the wisdom. Some showed you how deeply you could care. Keep that capacity. Some showed you where you disappeared. Keep the lesson. Some revealed what you need. Honor that knowledge. Some endings taught you what promises could not. Let the learning remain without forcing the pain to remain with it. An orchard does not hold last winter in every branch. The season leaves its mark, but the tree keeps moving. You can too. Your history can inform you without imprisoning you. You can remember without living backward. You can learn from who you were without endlessly correcting that person. You did not know then everything you know now. You made choices with the understanding you had. You loved with the tools you had. You stayed where hope still looked possible. You left when you could. You spoke when you found the words. You remained silent when you did not yet know how to speak. You learned, and learning deserves respect. This is why the orchard's oldest tree can become the heart of your new belief. It does not ask whether it has missed its moment. Its moment is the season it is living now. It does not measure itself by how quickly the younger trees grow. It carries what its own roots have prepared it to carry. It does not demand that every blossom become fruit. It knows some will fall. It knows some seasons will be lighter. It knows abundance is not the same every year, yet it does not conclude from one sparse season that it has become useless. It remains part of the orchard. It remains alive. It remains capable. Can you offer yourself that same respect? Can you stop interpreting every quiet season as a verdict? Can you stop assuming that because something has not happened yet, it cannot happen well? Can you stop treating your age as an emergency? Can you stop racing against imagined deadlines created by other people's lives? You do not know another person's whole story from the outside. You do not know what their partnership feels like. You do not know what their private struggles are. You do not know which parts of their life came with costs you would never choose. Comparison rarely gives you complete information. It gives you images, fragments, highlights, milestones without context. Your own life deserves more than being judged against fragments. Return to your row. Return to your roots. Return to the season beneath your feet. There is enough here to work with. There is enough here to live. The tree does not become fruitful by staring at another tree. It uses what reaches it: sunlight, rain, soil, time. You can do something similar emotionally. Use what is actually here: your experience, your insight, your friendships, your work, your interests, your body, your home, your creativity, your capacity to learn, your capacity to rest, your ability to say yes, your ability to say no, your ability to begin again without pretending you have never been hurt. This is the ground of mature openness, not innocence restored, wisdom softened. You do not have to forget every disappointment to become open again. You do not have to pretend everyone is trustworthy. You do not have to erase caution. You can carry discernment without carrying fear into every room. That is different. Discernment asks questions. Fear assumes answers. Discernment watches patterns. Fear tries to predict everything. Discernment can walk away. Fear often clings because it believes this may be the last chance. The last chance is one of the harshest stories age can whisper. This may be my final opportunity. I should accept more because I cannot afford to lose this. I should not ask for too much now. I should be grateful someone is interested. I should overlook this because time is moving. That story can persuade a person to abandon standards they spent decades learning to build. You do not have to obey it. Scarcity is not wisdom. Fear of time passing is not a reason to accept what makes you disappear. You are permitted to prefer peace. You are permitted to want reciprocity. You are permitted to decline what is not right for you, even if no replacement is visible. That last part can be difficult. Many people can release something only when they know what comes next. But mature trust sometimes looks like leaving an unhealthy pattern before a better one has appeared. Not because you are certain about the future, because you are clear about the present. You do not need to know who comes next, to know that chronic disrespect is too expensive. You do not need to know when a healthy bond will arrive to know that half presence drains you. You do not need a guaranteed outcome before you honor what you have learned. This is we. Re-receiving becomes much easier because you are no longer trying to force one specific door to become the only door. Your attention broadens. You become available to what is actually available. A good conversation can be a good conversation without immediately becoming destiny. A kind person can be appreciated without being assigned a future. A new connection can develop slowly without being pushed towards certainty before its time. You can enjoy what is present and still remain observant. You can be hopeful without becoming attached to a script. This creates space. Space around desire. Space around timing. Space around another person's freedom. Space around your own. The old tree has space around its branches. It is not tangled into every neighboring limb. That space is part of how it holds its shape. You need emotional space too. Space between another person's behavior and your interpretation. Space between attraction and decision. Space between disappointment and self-blame. Space between receiving affection and making promises. Space between desire and urgency. That space is where choice lives. Without space, old habits move quickly. A delayed reply becomes fear. Fear becomes pursuit. Pursuit becomes overgiving. Overgiving becomes resentment. Resentment becomes confusion. With space, the sequence can change. A delayed reply is a delayed reply. You continue your evening. You gather more information over time. You respond to the pattern, not the panic. That is growth, not glamorous, not dramatic, useful. And now, from everything the orchard has been teaching, a new sentence can begin to take root. It needs to belong to this night. It needs to hold both your years and your openness. It needs to remind you that receiving is not something you force. It is something you become steady enough to welcome. Here is the line. My deepest seasons make receiving feel natural now. Do not hurry through it. Let the words be ordinary. Let them remain human. My deepest seasons make receiving feel natural now. You do not have to believe it at 100%. You do not have to create a feeling on command. Just let the sentence sit beside the older one. The older one may have said that time is working against you. This one says your seasons have built capacity. The older one may have said you must work harder to be chosen. This one says your life has prepared you to recognize what can meet you. The older one may have said goodness must be earned through effort. This one says good things can be welcomed without overperformance. Again, my deepest seasons make receiving feel natural now. The word deepest matters. Not perfect seasons, not easy seasons, deep seasons, the ones that taught you, the ones that stretched you, the ones that clarified what matters, the ones that showed you what peace is worth, the ones that helped you stop confusing scarcity with desire. And the word natural matters too, because receiving does not need to feel like a miracle you must earn. Someone respecting your boundary can feel natural. Someone following through can feel natural. Someone being clear can feel natural. Someone making effort can feel natural. You resting without guilt can feel natural. You accepting care without immediately repaying it can feel natural. You being considered can feel natural. You being included can feel natural. You choosing what fits can feel natural. Once more quietly, my deepest seasons make receiving feel natural now. If part of you resists, do not fight it. Resistance often means an older belief has been repeated for a long time. A sentence practiced for decades does not always leave because a new sentence appears once. You can meet the resistance with something smaller, something your mind may be more ready to accept. Try this. I am willing to learn that good can come without strain. That may be enough for tonight. You do not have to jump from distrust to certainty. Willingness is a bridge. I am willing to learn that good can come without strain. You can be willing without being convinced. You can be willing while still remembering disappointments. You can be willing while part of you remains cautious. You can be willing while healing old habits. You can be willing while learning new ways to relate. The oldest tree did not deepen its roots in one night. It did so season by season. You are permitted the same patience. One boundary, one clear answer, one evening of rest, one decision not to over-explain, one moment of letting someone else make effort, one experience of kindness that you do not minimize, one day of trusting your own pace. These become roots, these become strength, these become the inner structure that can hold more without losing itself. You are not trying to become harder, you are becoming more rooted. You are not trying to need less. You are becoming clearer about what you need. You are not trying to stop caring. You are learning how to care without leaving yourself. You are not trying to control what arrives. You are learning how to recognize what deserves to stay. The orchard has never rushed the oldest tree. It has never told it that 50 seasons were too many. It has never demanded that it become young again before bearing fruit. It asks only that the tree remain rooted in the life it actually has. Tonight, you can do the same. Remain where you are. Honor what the years have made possible. Let your history become discernment. Let your discernment become calm. Let calm become the place from which you choose. And let choosing from that place begin to teach you a new experience of receiving. Choosing from that place begins to change what you agree to, not only in romance, not only in close relationships. In every quiet exchange where you used to believe that keeping peace mattered more than keeping contact with yourself, you begin to hear your own answer sooner. You begin to recognize the small inward contraction that happens when something does not fit. You stop needing a dramatic reason before taking your discomfort seriously. This is one of the gifts of becoming more rooted. You no longer require a crisis before making a correction. You do not have to wait until a branch breaks before admitting that too much weight has been placed on it. You can respond while the signal is still small. A tone that repeatedly leaves you diminished. A pattern of disappearing and returning without explanation. Promises that sound beautiful and rarely become action. Requests that always seem to move in one direction. Conversations where you carry all the curiosity. Plans that depend almost entirely on your initiative. Apologies that arrive without change. Moments when your body becomes tense before your mind has found the words. You can pay attention earlier. Not every uncomfortable moment means something is wrong. People misunderstand one another. People have difficult days. Someone can forget something important without being uncaring. Someone can speak clumsily and still repair the moment with sincerity. Someone can need space without rejecting you. Someone can make a mistake without becoming unsafe to know. You are not looking for perfection. You are looking for patterns you can live with. That distinction keeps your heart soft while your judgment becomes clearer. A mature boundary does not declare that no one may disappoint you. It says, disappointment will not automatically make you abandon yourself. You can stay in the conversation. You can ask what happened. You can listen. You can decide whether what follows gives you confidence or greater confusion. You can give another human being room to be imperfect without giving repeated harm unlimited room in your life. This is what makes a boundary different from a wall. A wall says nothing can enter. A boundary says what enters must meet reality. There is movement. There is choice. There is a gate you control. You decide when to open it. You decide when to close it. You decide what kind of behavior can keep walking through. There may have been a time when you thought boundaries were something harsh people used. Perhaps you feared that saying no would make you unkind. Perhaps you thought asking for clarity would ruin the connection. Perhaps you believed that being easygoing meant having very few expectations. Maybe you admired your ability to tolerate what others could not. Maybe you called yourself patient when you were actually waiting far beyond your own limit. Tonight, you can redefine strength. Strength is not endless tolerance. Strength is accurate participation. It is knowing when your yes is true. It is knowing when your no has become necessary. It is recognizing when another chance is generous and when another chance is only postponing what you already know. It is understanding that compassion without discernment can become self-neglect. You are permitted to have conditions for closeness, not conditions designed to control another person. Conditions that tell you whether closeness is healthy for you. Honesty matters, reliability matters, repair matters, freedom matters, respect matters, kindness matters, emotional responsibility matters, safety matters. You may value other things too. Humor, curiosity, affection, shared direction, patience, growth, a sense of ease. Whatever matters most to you, you are allowed to name it privately before asking whether another person can live beside it. This changes the order. For years, you may have met someone first and then rearranged your needs around what they happen to offer. If they communicated rarely, you told yourself you did not need frequent contact. If they avoided difficult conversations, you told yourself you should be more independent. If they did not make plans, you became the planner. If they rarely asked about you, you decided they were just reserved. If they resisted commitment, you convinced yourself labels were unnecessary. Sometimes adaptation is part of partnership. Two people naturally make adjustments, but adaptation becomes costly when only one person is doing the reshaping. You do not need to become inflexible. You do need to know which parts of you should not be traded away just to keep access to someone. The orchard teaches this without speaking. A mature tree bends in wind. It does not uproot itself for every gust. Flexibility is not the same as losing your ground. You can bend. You can compromise. You can make room. You can change your mind. You can learn another person's language. You can reconsider a preference. You can meet someone halfway. But halfway has meaning only when someone else is walking toward you too. If you keep crossing the whole distance and calling it compromise, exhaustion eventually tells the truth. The old pattern may whisper that asking for mutual effort will make people leave. Some may leave. That is difficult, but it is also revealing. If someone can stay near you only while you do all the bending, their departure does not prove you asked for too much. It may prove the arrangement depended upon you asking for too little. This is a hard truth when you are attached. The heart often wants to preserve contact first and evaluate its quality second. You can reverse that. You can ask whether the contact itself supports you, whether you feel freer to be truthful over time, whether both people can say no, whether care survives inconvenience, whether responsibility is shared, whether the relationship can hold difference without punishment. These questions are not demands for perfection. They are ways of seeing the structure. The oldest tree bears heavily because its structure can hold what grows there. If one branch is carrying far more than the others, the imbalance matters. If one side receives all the sun while another is continually stripped, the condition matters. Life reveals itself through conditions. So do relationships. What surrounds you shapes what can grow. You cannot build a peaceful bond entirely from frantic effort. You cannot build trust entirely from explanations. You cannot build closeness entirely from chemistry. You cannot build stability entirely from hope. Hope has a place. It is not the whole structure. There must also be behavior, consistency over time, the ability to repair, the willingness to listen, the courage to tell the truth, the humility to change when change is needed. You are not asking for a flawless person. You are asking whether two imperfect people can meet without one disappearing. That is a reasonable question, and the answer does not need to come all at once. You can let it emerge. This is another way your posture becomes calmer. You stop demanding immediate certainty from yourself. You do not have to decide after one conversation whether someone belongs in your future. You do not have to know after one date. You do not have to interpret one wonderful evening as a promise. You do not have to interpret one awkward moment as failure. You can take time. You can gather experience. You can let patterns become visible. That patience is not passive. It is attentive. It keeps you from assigning a destiny before there is enough reality to support one. It also keeps you from closing too quickly when something good develops slowly. Some of the strongest branches in an old tree began as small growth no one would have noticed from a distance. Not everything meaningful announces itself dramatically. You can be open to quiet beginnings. You can be open to steadiness that does not sweep you away. You can be open to someone whose care becomes clearer through repetition rather than spectacle. You can be open to a life that feels less like a rush and more like something you can actually inhabit. This is where your years serve you. You know what the rush costs. You know how exhausting it is to build an entire future from a handful of signs. You know how much inner labor it takes to keep uncertainty exciting. You know what it is to overread, overgive, overprepare, and overhope. You do not have to condemn any of it. You can graduate from it. A tree does not criticize its younger growth. It builds upon it. The thin branches of early seed ascents were necessary. The mistakes were part of becoming strong enough to hold more. Your earlier choices can be understood the same way. They were not wasted because they did not become permanent. Some experiences taught you exactly what peace is worth. Some taught you what clarity feels like by showing you its absence. Some taught you the difference between being admired and being cared for. Some taught you that attraction can exist without compatibility. Some taught you that staying longer does not always create deeper roots. Some taught you that a beautiful beginning does not guarantee a nourishing season. You are allowed to keep the lesson without keeping the arrangement. That is important. You do not owe endless access to someone merely because they were once significant. History can be honored without being repeated. You can appreciate what was good without returning to what hurt. You can forgive without reopening every door. You can wish someone well from a distance. You can care and still decide that proximity is no longer healthy. And if a relationship harms your body or spirit, frightens you, isolates you, threatens you, controls you, or makes you fear for your safety, affirmations alone are not the answer. Real support matters. Trusted people matter. Professional help can matter. Practical safety planning can matter. Words like these can support inner dignity, but they should never be used to persuade you to remain where you are being harmed. Your life deserves real protection. That truth belongs here because self-respect must be more than beautiful language. It must reach the places where decisions become practical. It must be able to say, "This is not safe for me." It must be able to ask for help. It must be able to leave secrecy. It must be able to choose support over appearances. There is courage in that. There is no spiritual prize for enduring what destroys your sense of safety. There is no virtue in staying silent while harm continues. Your inner work can stand beside real-world help. They do not compete. One can strengthen the other. Even in situations that are not dangerous, practical action matters. If a pattern confuses you, you can ask directly. If you need time, you can take it. If you want exclusivity, you can say so. If you do not want it, you can say that too. If a relationship is not meeting your needs, you can name the gap. If another person cannot meet you there, you can decide what that information means for you. This is what grounded receiving looks like. It is not sitting still and expecting life to arrange itself around your preferences. It is being available for what fits while participating honestly in your own life. You act where action belongs to you. You stop acting where control does not belong to you. You speak your truth. You release the need to manage the answer. That separation brings relief. Your part, their part. Your choice, their choice. Your responsibility, their responsibility. The old habit blurred these lines. You may have taken responsibility for their comfort while handing them responsibility for your sense of being valued. Now the lines become clearer. You can care about their comfort without making it your duty. You can value their opinion without turning it into your identity. You can hope for closeness without making it the condition of your peace. You can be disappointed without becoming diminished. You can be wanted without losing your center. You can be alone without treating aloneness as proof of failure. This is the strange beauty of healthy readiness. The more you can remain with yourself, the less pressure you bring into connection. The less pressure you carry, the more honestly you can see what is being offered. The more honestly you see, the easier it becomes to choose what truly fits. And then what arrives does not have to rescue you from your own life. It can join you there. That is a very different kind of companionship. You are not waiting to be completed. You are not presenting yourself as finished either. You are living, learning, changing, resting, becoming. Another person, if they enter deeply, meets a life already in motion. They do not become its sole source of meaning. They become part of a larger field of meaning you already inhabit. This protects both people. It protects you from making one human being responsible for every unmet need. It protects them from being asked to carry a role no person can hold forever. It leaves room for friendship, work, creativity, family, solitude, rest, curiosity, community, your private inner life. A healthy bond can sit among these things instead of replacing them. The orchard does not ask one branch to become the whole tree. Everything belongs in proportion. That is what you are learning, proportion. A reply can matter without controlling the day. Attraction can matter without controlling your judgment. A disappointment can matter without controlling your identity. A person can matter without controlling your entire future. You can hold something dearly without holding it desperately. This is one of the deepest forms of freedom, and from that freedom, your standards become quieter. You no longer need to announce them dramatically. You live them. You stop staying in conversations that repeatedly become disrespectful. You stop saying yes when your whole body means no. You stop volunteering for roles that make you resentful. You stop rewarding inconsistency with increasing effort. You stop explaining a boundary so many times that it becomes a negotiation against yourself. You stop trying to make another person agree with your decision before you are permitted to make it. A boundary does not require unanimous approval. That can be hard for a person who learned to keep everyone comfortable. You may still want them to understand. You may still hope they see your reasons. But your choice does not become invalid because someone dislikes it. You are allowed to disappoint someone without being cruel. You are allowed to decline an invitation. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to ask for more information. You are allowed to say, "That does not work for me." You are allowed to move slowly. You are allowed to end a conversation and return when you are calmer. You are allowed to stop investing where there is no mutual growth. None of this makes you difficult. It makes you present in your own life. And presence changes the quality of what can reach you. When you are not spending all your attention maintaining the wrong things, you have more attention for what is real. You hear sincere interest more clearly. You recognize steadiness. You appreciate effort because you are no longer doing all of it yourself. You become less impressed by dazzling beginnings and more interested in what survives ordinary days. You stop needing intensity as proof. You start valuing what can hold weight. That is the old tree's wisdom. Not the brightest spring, the heaviest harvest, not the loudest display, the strongest branches, not a life without weather, a life able to remain rooted through it. Your age does not remove you from possibility. It can improve your relationship with possibility. You no longer have to say yes to everything that looks promising. You can wait for evidence. You can let something show its nature. You can ask whether it adds peace or continually extracts it. You can remember that readiness does not guarantee a particular person, particular date, or particular outcome. No affirmation can promise another human being's choice. No inner posture can control timing. No practice can force life to deliver one exact picture. What you can cultivate is readiness to recognize what is healthy, courage to respond to what is not, and steadiness enough to let good experiences reach you without making yourself perform for them. That promise is real because it belongs to your own behavior. You can practice that tonight. You can sleep without solving another person's mind. You can sleep without predicting the future. You can sleep without deciding whether every connection will stay. You can sleep while uncertainty remains unfinished. The tree does not stay awake bargaining with tomorrow's weather. It stands in today's soil. For this night, that is enough. You have said what you can say. You have learned what today could teach. You have carried what belonged to you. Anything beyond that can wait until morning. Your dignity does not need one more late-night explanation. Your future does not need one more anxious calculus. John. Your heart does not need another hour of rehearsal. Rest is not abandonment. Rest is not giving up. Rest is not losing your chance. Rest is part of staying rooted enough to recognize what deserves your next yes, and your next no, and your next quiet decision to remain faithful to the life beneath your own feet. The life beneath your own feet is asking less from you tonight than the old habit ever did. It is not asking you to prove anything. It is not asking you to solve tomorrow. It is not asking you to decide who will stay, who will change, or which possibility will become real. It is asking you to remain where you are long enough to feel the difference between effort and strain. There is effort in every meaningful life. You show up, you communicate, you care, you make choices, you repair what belongs to you, you learn. You try again when trying again is wise. Strain is different. Strain is what happens when you begin carrying beyond your share because you are afraid of what will happen if you put it down. Strain says you must keep the conversation moving. Strain says you must be memorable every moment. Strain says you must prevent distance. Strain says you must make someone understand. Strain says you must never disappoint. Strain says you must stay one step ahead of rejection. The rooted part of you does not need those instructions anymore. You can still participate fully. You can still care deeply. You can still be brave enough to speak first when speaking first is honest. but you no longer have to act as if one imperfect moment can erase you. That old fear made everything feel fragile. One slow response could become a warning. One change in tone could become a threat. One uncertain answer could send the mind searching for what needed to be repaired. When you live that way for long enough, the heart can forget that relationships are meant to reveal themselves through time. Not every moment has to secure the next one. Not every conversation has to guarantee another. Not every meeting has to become a future. You can let life breathe. You can let another person have their own pace without making their pace your measurement. You can have your own pace too. This is especially important when something begins to feel promising. The old instinct may rush forward. It may want certainty before there is enough experience to support certainty. It may want names, definitions, promises, proof. It may start planning what has not yet been built. There is no need to criticize that excitement. Excitement is beautiful. Hope is beautiful. Interest is beautiful. You are simply learning to let them grow beside discernment. You can enjoy the blossoms without demanding harvest in the same week. The orchard never confuses the two. A blossom is a beginning, beautiful, real, worth appreciating, but it is not yet fruit. Some blossoms fall, some are changed by weather, some become exactly what the season was preparing. The tree does not accuse spring of betrayal when every blossom does not remain. It keeps its roots. It continues. That image can free you from one of the most painful habits of longing. You do not have to make every beginning become forever in order for the beginning to have been meaningful. A conversation can matter and still end. A person can awaken something in you and still not become your companion. A season can teach you something and still be temporary. A connection can be sincere and still reveal limits. You do not need to rewrite the entire experience as false because it did not become permanent. And you do not have to keep extending what has reached its natural limit simply because part of it was beautiful. Maturity can hold both truths. That mattered, and it is complete. Those sentences can live together. There is dignity in completion. There is dignity in staying too, when staying is mutual and healthy. Your task is not to prefer endings. It is to stop fearing them so much that you accept anything to avoid one. When you know you can survive disappointment, you become more truthful inside connection. You can say what you want. You can hear what the other person wants. You can discover whether those things fit. You can stop turning incompatibility into a personal failure. Two sincere people can want different lives. Two caring people can have different capacities. Two good people can discover that closeness does not work in the form they first hoped. That reality may bring sadness. It does not require shame. And because you no longer need every connection to validate you, you can become more selective without becoming closed. This is where standards become compassionate. You are not rejecting humanity. You are choosing conditions in which your humanity can remain intact. You are not waiting for perfection. You are paying attention to whether what develops can bear real weight. The 50-year tree has no interest in competing with blossoms. It knows what weight feels like. It has carried harvest before. This is one of the great advantages of experience. You know the difference between a promise that thrills you and a pattern you can rely upon. You may still be attracted to promise. You are human, but you no longer have to build your whole life around it. You can wait for the branch to prove that it can hold. This is how you become easier to meet. Not because you lower yourself, because you stop presenting a moving target. When you change your needs every time another person hesitates, they cannot truly know you. When you say yes while feeling no, they meet your accommodation rather than your truth. When you hide your questions to avoid pressure, they meet a carefully edited version of you. When you pretend to need less than you do, closeness forms around an absence. Then later, when your real needs emerge, you may feel guilty for having them. There is another way. Let someone meet the actual you gradually. Not every private detail all at once. Not every wound. Not every story. Your truth does not require immediate exposure. But let your real preferences exist. Let your pace exist. Let your values exist. Let your humor exist. Let your quiet exist. Let your seriousness exist. Let your joy exist. Let your uncertainty exist. Let your no exist. Let your yes mean something. This gives another person the chance to choose you as you are, rather than the version constructed to prevent their departure. It also gives you the chance to see whether you enjoy being yourself beside them. That question matters more than many people realize. Do you like who you become in this connection? Do you become freer, more honest, more settled, more curious, more alive? Or do you become watchful, careful, preoccupied, smaller, constantly responsible for the atmosphere? You are not looking for one perfect feeling. Every relationship has difficult moments. You are looking at the larger pattern. A tree is not judged by one windy afternoon. You look across the season. The same is true here. Across time, do you feel that your roots are protected? Across time, is there mutual care? Across time, can you be truthful? Across time, does the connection grow stronger through reality or depend upon fantasy to stay exciting? These questions bring you back to Earth, and Earth is where the old tree thrives. Not in imagined futures. In the soil it actually has. You can begin practicing that tonight. Return from imagined conversations. Return from imagined reunions. Return from imagined losses. Return from imagined explanations. Return from rehearsals. Return from the version of tomorrow that fear has been constructing. You do not live there. You live here. This bed, this room, this breath, this night, this body, this actual life. What is true right now? You are here. You have survived every previous night that once felt uncertain. You have known disappointment and still found mornings. You have known joy you could not have predicted. You have changed in ways your earlier self could not have planned. Some of the things you once believed you could never live without became things you eventually released. Some of the things you never imagined needing became precious. Life has already shown you that your predictions are not the full story. That can be comforting. You do not need complete knowledge tonight. You need enough trust to stop gripping what cannot be controlled. The tree cannot command rain. It cannot decide how warm next week will be. It cannot make every blossom remain. Its strength does not come from controlling the season. Its strength comes from staying rooted enough to meet the season. You can do that. You can meet what comes without trying to dictate every form. You can recognize healthy effort. You can recognize inconsistency. You can respond to each with your eyes open. You can let what is reciprocal deepen. You can let what is not become information. You can make decisions from what is real. You do not have to turn every desire into a demand upon tomorrow. This is what makes space around your hopes. Space does not weaken desire. It protects desire from becoming desperation. You can want companionship. You can want warmth. You can want a fulfilling partnership. You can want to be known. You can want tenderness. You can want a home shared with someone. You can want laughter across ordinary days. You can want hands reaching toward yours. You can want all of that without telling yourself your life is incomplete until it happens. Desire and gratitude can live together. You can want more while respecting what is here. This protects you from choosing from panic. When you believe time is running out, almost anything can look like an answer. When you know your life has value now, you can take time to see what something really is. That is the age advantage no one needs to shout about. The oldest tree is not in a hurry to prove it can still bear. It just bears when the season is right. Your years do not have to make you frantic. They can make you selective. They can make you more interested in depth than display, more interested in consistency than dramatic attention, more interested in what lasts than what dazzles, more willing to ask whether peace is present, more willing to leave what repeatedly costs too much. You have lived enough to know that being alone for a season can be easier than being lonely beside someone. You have lived enough to know that attention does not cure incompatibility. You have lived enough to know that promises do not replace patterns. You have lived enough to know that a beautiful idea of someone is not the same as knowing them. And you may have lived enough to know that good things can still surprise you. That last truth deserves room. Experience does not have to turn into guardedness. It can turn into discernment with an open hand. You do not have to expect disappointment just because you have known it. You can say, I know what disappointment feels like, and I am still available for something healthier. You do not need to say it loudly. You do not need to make a grand declaration. Just know that caution and openness can coexist. You can open slowly. You can ask questions. You can keep your routines. You can remain connected to friends. You can protect your sleep. You can enjoy a new person without reorganizing your whole world immediately. You can let consistency earn deeper access. This is not playing hard to get. It is giving reality time to speak. And if something good is real, time does not have to destroy it. Time can reveal it. You are becoming patient with revelation, patient with your own readiness, patient with the pace of trust, patient with the fact that your body may need repeated experiences before it believes calm is safe. If you spent years responding to uncertainty, steadiness may feel unfamiliar. Give yourself time. You are not required to instantly relax around every kind person. You can learn. You can take in evidence. You can let trust grow. And when care is offered, you can practice not brushing it aside. A kind word can land. A thoughtful gesture can land. An invitation can land. A sincere apology can land. A clear plan can land. Someone remembering what matters to you can land. Someone showing up when they said they would can land. Do not hurry to turn these moments into predictions. Just let them be good. That alone may be new. You do not need to ask immediately what it means for the future. You can say inwardly, this was good. I can take this in. That is receiving without grasping. The old belief may say good moments are dangerous because losing them will hurt. The rooted belief says good moments are worth experiencing because they are here. You cannot prevent every future sadness by refusing present joy. And you cannot guarantee future joy by clinging to what is present. So you practice being here. You let today be today. You let another person's effort belong to them. You let your response belong to you. The nervous system slowly learns that you do not have to seize the moment to keep it alive. Some things deepen because they are given room. The fruit on an old tree does not become sweeter because the branch pulls at it. It ripens through time. That is enough imagery for now. You already know the lesson. You do not need to force ripening. You do not need to force clarity before clarity exists. You do not need to force closeness. You do not need to force yourself to stop wanting. You do not need to force yourself to become fearless. You can become steadier instead. Steadier with desire. Steadier with silence. Steadier with attention. Steadier with affection. Steadier with uncertainty. Steadier with good things. Steadier with endings. Steadier with beginnings. And because you are steadier, you no longer have to grasp as quickly. You can welcome. You can observe. You can choose. You can rest. If there is one quiet thing you would like to leave here before sleep, let it be a simple good night to the version of you who worked so hard to be chosen. Nothing more is required. No explanation, no story, just a soft good night if that feels right. The old version of you does not need to be rejected. They need rest. They carried you through seasons when they thought effort was the safest form of hope. They reached, they waited, they tried, they adjusted, they learned. You can thank that part without asking it to lead tomorrow. Tonight, another part of you can take the quieter place, the one that knows how to stay, the one that knows how to listen, the one that knows that being valued does not begin with persuasion. Let that part speak now, not in long arguments, in short truths. I am safe with my truth. I honor my own pace. I welcome mutual effort. I trust consistent care. I choose what fits. I can accept kindness. I let respect reach me. I remain myself in closeness. I do not bargain with peace. I am open without rushing. I value honest connection. I let actions speak. I trust what repeats. I keep my own center. I welcome clear intentions. I am available for reciprocity. I can be seen. I can be known. I can be considered. I can be supported. I can rest while life unfolds. I carry mature discernment. I honor my seasons. I trust deeper roots. I welcome steady affection. I choose calm connection. I can receive care. I am open to good. I am not behind. I belong to my life. I trust my timing. I keep my dignity. I welcome what fits. I choose mutuality. I am rooted. I am ready. I am steady. I am open. I am whole. I can rest. I can soften. I am here. I am safe. I am held. I stay rooted. I choose peace. I welcome good. I trust myself. No proving. No pleading. No rushing. Just here. Still rooted. Still open. Still growing. Now let the words become smaller than thought. Let them pass through without effort. You do not have to remember them. You do not have to repeat them perfectly. You do not have to make anything happen. Your work for this day is finished enough. Your mind can stop reaching ahead. Your shoulders can settle. Your jaw can loosen. Your hands can become quiet. Your forehead can smooth. Your eyes can rest behind closed lids. Your tongue can rest. Your neck can release its work. Your arms can become heavy. Your chest can move without instruction. Your belly can soften. Your back can settle into support. Your hips can release the day. Your legs can grow heavy. Your knees can rest. Your ankles can let go. Your feet can become still. Nothing to earn, nothing to solve. No message required. No answer required. No decision tonight. The orchard does not need your supervision. The season can continue without your management. The old tree remains rooted while darkness passes through the rows. You can remain rooted too, quietly, naturally, without proving, without reaching, without rehearsing. Your life is here. Your breath is here. Your body is here. This night is here. Rest with what is real. Let tomorrow remain tomorrow. Let other people carry their own choices. Let unanswered things remain unanswered. Let unfinished things remain unfinished. You are not required to complete the future before you sleep. Rest now. Stay rooted. Stay soft. Stay yours. That may be the quietest promise of this whole night. Not stay untouched, not stay unchanged, not stay closed. Stay yours. Remain in relationship with your own life even while another person matters to you. Remain able to hear your own answer. Remain able to recognize your own exhaustion. Remain able to celebrate what is good without handing it authority over your identity. Remain able to walk away from what repeatedly asks you to become less present inside yourself. This is not isolation. It is belonging to yourself while you belong with others. You can share your days without surrendering ownership of them. You can build a future with someone without making them responsible for your entire future. You can lean into closeness without losing the ground beneath you. The oldest tree in the orchard stands through the night in exactly that way. Its branches move. Its leaves answer the air. Its shape responds to the season. Still, its roots remain its own. There is no contradiction there. Movement and rootedness can exist together. So can tenderness and discernment. So can openness and a clear no. So can desire and peace. So can companionship and a strong inner life. You are not being asked to choose between having a heart and having a backbone. You need both. A heart without structure can keep giving long after it becomes depleted. Structure without a heart can protect so thoroughly that nothing nourishing gets close. Your deeper wisdom is learning the middle, soft enough to welcome, steady enough to choose, warm enough to care, clear enough to leave confusion where it belongs, patient enough to watch what develops, strong enough not to force what does not. This balance does not arrive as a permanent state one morning. You return to it again and again. You may have a day when the old habit takes over. You may send the extra message. You may explain too much. You may ignore a small inner signal. You may stay awake longer than you intended. You may get attached to an outcome. That does not erase what you are learning. A tree is not uprooted because one branch bends farther than expected. You correct. You come back. You begin again. There is no need to turn growth into another standard you must perform perfectly. Even self-respect can become exhausting if you use it as another way to judge yourself. Do not do that. You are learning. That is enough for one night. Tomorrow may give you another chance to practice. Maybe someone will write. Maybe they will not. Maybe a conversation will become clearer. Maybe it will remain unfinished. Maybe an opportunity will open. Maybe you will discover that something you wanted no longer fits. Your inner ground does not have to depend on which version appears. That is the freedom you have been moving toward. You can meet tomorrow without demanding that it validate tonight. You can wake and still be yourself before looking at a screen. You can begin your morning without checking whether the world has approved of you while you slept. You can drink water, open a curtain, stand in the early light, move slowly. Remember your own life before entering anyone else's attention. These small acts keep your roots close. They tell the mind that your existence is not an intermission between messages. Your day has substance before anyone contacts you. Your body has needs before anyone desires you. Your thoughts matter before anyone agrees. Your plans matter before anyone joins them. Your life is not waiting backstage. It is happening. That truth can become very comforting. You may have spent long stretches of life believing the meaningful part was always about to begin. After I meet someone. After this relationship becomes secure. After I know where I stand. After I am chosen. After this uncertainty resolves. Then I will relax. Then I will feel complete. Then I will enjoy myself. But life keeps passing through the waiting. Years can disappear inside postponed permission. The orchard does not postpone being an orchard until harvest day. There are quiet mornings, bare branches, rain-dark bark, new leaves, fallen petals, long afternoons, fruit beginning small, fruit becoming heavy. Every part belongs. Your life is allowed to belong before the result arrives. This day belongs. This age belongs. This body belongs. This season belongs. You do not need to call it perfect. You only need to stop calling it insufficient because some future piece has not appeared yet. There is so much relief in that. You can still want. You can still dream. You can still make room for someone wonderful. You can still hope for affection that feels mutual and steady. You can still imagine companionship. You can still prepare yourself to participate well if it comes. But you do not stand at the edge of your own days, demanding that the future rescue the present. You begin living from here. That is what makes the next chapter different. Not because you can guarantee who enters it, because you enter it differently. You enter with roots. You enter with memory. You enter with discernment. You enter with more compassion for the person you used to be. You enter with less hunger to prove yourself. You enter with more respect for quiet consistency. You enter knowing that attention can be pleasant without being sacred. You enter knowing that chemistry can be real without being enough for partnership. You enter knowing that a no can protect a better yes. You enter knowing that solitude can be peaceful. You enter knowing you can survive what does not stay. That knowledge gives you room to enjoy what does. Imagine how different it feels to be cared for when you are not waiting for the care to certify you. A thoughtful gesture can remain a thoughtful gesture. A clear invitation can remain a clear invitation. A reliable person can reveal themselves over time. You do not have to grab the moment and ask it to guarantee a lifetime. You can receive one good day as one good day, then another, then another. Trust can become something lived rather than promised. That is a mature kind of hope. It does not need fireworks every evening. It respects accumulation. One kept word, one honest conversation, one repaired misunderstanding, one boundary respected, one difficult truth handled with care, one plan followed through, one ordinary morning where you feel free to be yourself. These are the fruits that matter, not because they are dramatic, because they can be carried. The oldest tree knows the value of what can be carried. It has no need to convince the orchard that it is still relevant. It does not perform age. It inhabits age. Its strength has become quiet. Perhaps yours is becoming quiet too. You do not have to tell everyone how much you have learned. Your choices will show it. What you stop tolerating will show it. What you stop pursuing will show it. What you no longer explain will show it. What you welcome without suspicion will show it. How quickly you return to yourself after disappointment will show it. How carefully you treat your peace will show it. No speech is required. Your life becomes the evidence. If you feel one more flicker of the old fear tonight, let it come without turning it into prophecy. Fear is not a forecast. Longing is not an instruction. Memory is not destiny. A difficult past is not a sentence about what happens next. You have more choice now, not control over everything. Choice over your participation. Choice over your pace. Choice over what you keep feeding. Choice over what you stop explaining away. Choice over where you seek support. Choice over whether you believe every frightened thought. Choice over whether you keep making another person's uncertainty the center of your day. These choices are enough to change a life gradually, not magically, practically, quietly. You can choose rest. You can choose clarity. You can choose mutual effort. You can choose to ask. You can choose to wait for an answer. You can choose to accept the answer you receive. You can choose not to turn someone's limitation into your defect. You can choose not to turn your history into a deadline. You can choose to honor the 50 years, 60 years, or whatever number of seasons you have lived without speaking of them as something you must overcome. You have not been disqualified by living. Your years have not pushed you outside the orchard. You are still here, still able to grow, still able to learn, still able to change direction, still able to laugh, still able to be surprised, still able to meet people you have never met, still able to understand yourself in ways that were impossible earlier, still able to create days that feel more honest. This night does not need to promise anything beyond that. It does not need to promise who will arrive. It does not need to promise exactly when. It does not need to promise that every door will open. It can offer something more reliable. You can become a person who no longer abandons their own ground while waiting to see what opens. That is enough to carry into sleep. If you would like to leave one small good night beneath these words, let your comment be only this: I stay rooted. No story is needed, no explanation. Just those words, if they feel true enough for tonight. Then let the night have the rest. You do not need to keep listening with effort. The words can move farther away now. The orchard is dark. The rows are quiet. Nothing there is trying to impress the night. The young trees rest. The old tree rests. Fruit hangs without argument. Branches hold without asking to be admired. Roots remain beneath everything. No applause, no comparison, no hurry. Your own roots can become quiet too. You have thought enough. You have reviewed enough. You have carried enough. Let the day close without making one last demand of yourself. No final answer is required. No emotional breakthrough is required. No perfect belief is required. Sleep does not ask for proof. Rest can come to you as you are. The mind may wander. Let it wander past. A name may appear. Let it pass. A memory may rise. Let it soften at the edges. A future scene may begin forming. You do not have to enter it. Stay here, in the dark, in the quiet, in your own body. The old tree does not lean toward tomorrow. It holds tonight. You can hold tonight. No more reaching, no more measuring, no more rehearsing. Your breath knows what to do. Your body knows how to become heavy. The bed can carry you. The room can remain still. The unanswered can remain unanswered. You are not required to guard the future. You are not required to protect every possibility from disappearing. What is healthy will not be strengthened by your exhaustion. What is right for you does not need you to betray yourself in order to recognize it. Let that truth become quiet now. No force, no effort, only rest. Your years are with you, not behind you like a burden, within you like roots, deep, steady, unseen. They have carried you here. They can carry you into morning. And when morning comes, you do not need a new identity. You can begin with one small posture, a person who belongs to themselves, a person who can welcome what is mutual, a person who does not beg uncertainty to become certainty, a person who lets actions reveal what words cannot, a person who knows that peaceful things are not too small to matter, a person who has stopped mistaking strain for devotion, a person whose life is already happening. Let that be enough. The tree does not ask for another season before it accepts the one it is in. Neither do you. You are here. You are rooted. You are still capable of a full harvest. And now the vow. I stand rooted and let good reach me. Keep it softly. No need to repeat it again. The words have done their work. Your shoulders can sink. Your hands can rest. Your breathing can become slower on its own. The room asks nothing. The night asks nothing. Tomorrow is not here. Stay with what is. One breath, then another. Quiet. Still. Rooted. You no longer chase. You attract. May your deepest roots sleep before tomorrow blooms.